How did the Buddha achieve enlightenment? The Buddha introduced a completely new concept of meditation to the world. Before the Buddha, meditation was something you did once or twice a day, for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, and that was all. The Buddha brought a completely new understanding of the entire meditation process. He stated that the type of meditation you practice for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, or perhaps 4 or 5 times a day, is not very valuable. Meditation cannot be something you separate from life for an hour or 15 minutes. It must resonate with life, as natural as breathing. You cannot just breathe for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, because if that were the case, the evening would never come. It must be like breathing. Even when you are asleep, you breathe. You might be in a coma, but you continue to breathe. The Buddha stated that meditation must be a constant phenomenon. Only then can it transform you. And he introduced a new meditation technique. His greatest contribution to the world was Janna and Vipassana. Vipassana is a Pali word, the language he often used to speak, because as a prince he was taught Sanskrit, the language of literature. However, when speaking, he never used this language because it was the language of the clergy and intellectuals, not of the common people. Sanskrit was never a language used for everyday life. It is unique compared to all other languages in the world, used only by the intellectual and scholarly elite, and because it is not understood, not recognized, the masses found it mystical. If translated literally, it means nothing special, even nonsensical, but its sound is full of musicality. It has the most perfect structure among the languages of the world. But he decided to speak the language of the masses. It was a revolutionary step because the language of the crowd was not grammatically correct. Thanks to being used, thanks to ordinary people changing sounds, tones, the words became easier to use and no longer complicated. Pali is a simple language and the language of naive, uneducated people. Vipassana is their language. The literal meaning of the word is to see, and the metaphorical meaning is to witness. Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha, chose a type of meditation called mind meditation. The act of witnessing is present as an essential part in every form of meditation and is unavoidable. All other types of meditation involve witnessing in various ways. The act of witnessing is present as an essential part in every form of meditation and is unavoidable. The Buddha eliminated everything else and retained only the essential witnessing, the special seeing. Chapter 1. What meditation method did the Buddha use to attain enlightenment? Before attaining enlightenment, the Buddha studied meditation that involved applied thought, or vitakka, and sustained thought, known as vikara, under previous meditation masters. However, he did not achieve the rapture, pity, and happiness, sukha, because the concentration developed through those methods was misdirected concentration, mika samadhi, involving both applied and sustained thoughts. It was only when he unintentionally recalled a meditation method from his childhood, which involved neither applied nor sustained thoughts, that he attained proper concentration, sama samadhi. After leaving the royal palace in search of enlightenment, the Buddha studied under 2 famous teachers of his time to learn the formless meditations, arupa jhanas. These were types of concentration that involved applied and sustained thought from the ancient practices of ascetics. Even after personally experiencing and achieving complete results, he still felt that these were not the forms of meditation leading to true enlightenment and liberation. During his 6 years of ascetic practices with 5 companions, led by Khandana, he did not find liberation from mental afflictions, despite enduring extreme physical hardships. Therefore, he decided to leave his 5 companions. The legend of Sujata offering him a bowl of milk rice, which he accepted to end his fast after many years of asceticism, symbolizes his realization that physical self-mortification does not lead to liberation of the mind. Thus, he abandoned it and sought a different practice. This time he chose the Bodhi tree near the river Nirvana to meditate, which became one of the most critical junctures in human history, with a story recorded almost by chance in the scriptures. After years of seeking the path to truth with many learned teachers, he still could not find it and had to search for liberation on his own. He recalled a state of boundless joy and happiness he had accidentally experienced as a child during a plowing festival at the royal palace. While everyone else was joyously participating in the festival amid the spring breezes, the prince sat alone, cross-legged under a tree, meditating, and inadvertently experienced a state of profound joy. Unfortunately, he did not explore this further at the time. Now, as an ascetic under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, Bihar, he followed his childhood method to rediscover this state of joy during his nights of practice there. Chapter 2. The Four Jhanas. Scriptures describe slightly different accounts, but essentially he went through 4 stages of meditation. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. First jhana, a state of joy and happiness born from seclusion, involving both applied and sustained thought, vitaka and vikara. Second jhana, a state of joy and happiness born from concentration, without applied or sustained thought, internally assured, one-pointedness of mind, kshitasis ekagata. Third jhana, happiness of the fading of joy, abiding in equanimity, mindful and fully aware. Fourth jhana, abandoning happiness and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. Regarding the fourth state, the Chabisodhana Sutta mentions, abandoning pleasure, abandoning pain, having previously overcome happiness and sorrow, he enters and remains in the fourth jhana, which has neither pain nor pleasure and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. With a mind thus concentrated, purified, without defilement, without disturbances, malleable, wieldy, steady, and attained to imperturbability, the practitioner directs and inclines the mind towards the knowledge of the destruction of the taints. He truly knew, this is suffering, dukkha, truly knew, this is the cause of suffering, truly knew, this is the cessation of suffering, truly knew, this is the path leading to the cessation of suffering, truly knew. These are the taints, asavas, truly knew. This is the cause of the taints, truly knew. This is how the taints are destroyed, truly knew. This is the path leading to the destruction of the taints. Through such knowledge, through such vision, the practitioner's mind was liberated from the taints of sensual desire, kamasava, existence, bhavasava, and ignorance, avijjasava. For one who has thus liberated themselves, the knowledge arises. I am liberated, the holy life has been lived, the task done, there is no more coming back to this state. Chapter 2. The Fourth Jhana. In the Maha Asapura Sutta concerning the fourth jhana, it is stated furthermore, a monk abandons pleasure and pain and previous feelings of joy and grief to enter and remain in the fourth jhana. This state is neither painful nor pleasant, and includes the purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. In this state, the monk permeates his entire body with a pure and bright mind, such that no part of the body is untouched by this pure and bright consciousness. Imagine monks, a person sitting and covering themselves entirely with a white cloth. There is no part of their body not covered by this cloth. Similarly, monks, the practitioner sits, permeating his entire body with a pure and bright mind. From the Kulatanya Sankhya Sutta, it is mentioned, it is not proper to have attachment towards all phenomena. O divine beings, if a monk is instructed that it is not proper to have attachment towards all phenomena, he thoroughly understands all phenomena. After understanding all phenomena completely, if any feeling arises, whether pleasurable, painful, or neither, such a monk lives observing the impermanence, observing detachment, observing cessation, observing relinquishment in these feelings. By living so, he clings to nothing in the world. By not clinging, he is not troubled, and by not being troubled, he attains Nibbana. Such a monk discerns, birth is extinguished, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no return to this state of being. In summary, to that extent, a monk who has eradicated attachments is liberated, achieving peace from sufferings, accomplishing the holy life, and reaching fulfillment, the supreme among deities and humans. In addition to the scriptures mentioned above, there are also excerpts from the Khuddaka Nikaya, the Samyutta Nikaya, the Anguttara Nikaya, and others. They also record the Buddha's attainment of Nibbana at the Bodhi tree, using the method of jhana meditation, samatha and samasamadhi, to achieve great enlightenment. However, immediately after his great enlightenment, the Buddha returned to teach the 5 ascetics about the 4 noble truths, the noble eightfold path, dependent origination, impermanence, and anatta, non-self, and later taught the 4 foundations of mindfulness. What then is the connection between the fourth jhana, and these teachings? Right concentration and wrong concentration. Before the Buddha attained enlightenment, he studied meditation with applied thought, vitaka, and sustained thought, vikara, under previous masters but did not achieve rapture, piti, or happiness, sukha, because the concentration developed from those methods was incorrect concentration, mika samadhi, involving both applied and sustained thoughts. It was only when he accidentally recalled a childhood method of meditation that lacked applied and sustained thought that he developed right concentration, sama samadhi, leading to true happiness and rapture. This discovery was a monumental breakthrough in the history of meditation, allowing the Buddha to attain and dwell in the progressive states of jhana from the first to the fourth. Right concentration does not focus on a single object or force the mind to adhere to one scene, allowing the mind to be free from fixation because there is no fixed mind or object to bind it, as both the mind and objects are in constant flux. Thus, right concentration involves continuously shifting attention from one transient object to another. During his nights at the Bodhi tree, the Buddha continuously experienced these states of right concentration, and upon achieving the fourth jhana, he discovered the true nature of happiness and enlightenment. Happiness does not come from any specific object. Specific objects involve applied and sustained thought. The true state of happiness, or nibbana, arises from the joy of the second jhana, the happiness of the third jhana to the purity of the fourth jhana, independent of any specific object. Through this understanding, the Buddha discerned suffering, its cause, its cessation, and the method to practice for its cessation, the Four Noble Truths. After achieving right concentration, he contemplated the impermanent nature of all phenomena as recorded in the scriptures. After thoroughly understanding all phenomena, if any sensation arises, whether pleasant, painful, or neither, the monk lives observing impermanence, detachment, cessation, and relinquishment in those sensations. By living so, he does not cling to anything in the world. By not clinging, he is not troubled, and by not being troubled, he attains nibbana. Thanks to 49 continuous days of practicing jhana meditation and contemplating all phenomena, the Buddha realized the truth about nibbana and the saintly happiness that eradicates all suffering and distress, achieving true liberation. Later, he proposed a methodological approach divided into 4 categories: contemplation of the body, practicing right concentration for a liberated mind; contemplation of feelings, mind, and phenomena, reflecting on the arising and cessation and the nature of laws, known as the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Chapter 3. Right concentration leads to wisdom. Through the practice of right concentration, sama samadhi, one can contemplate the true nature of phenomena arising and ceasing, hence the concept. Concentration gives rise to wisdom. However, it should be specifically noted that only right concentration leads to true wisdom, sama samadhi sambojjhanga, not wrong concentration, mika samadhi. By contemplating each moment of the arising and cessation of phenomena, one discerns the sweetness or pleasure, sukha, the danger of dependence or attachment to the sweetness of an object, vitakka and vikara, and thereby relinquishes attachment to or fixation on such objects, fully liberating oneself, as declared by the Buddha in the Nikaya texts. Monks, the Tathagata, through discerning the arising and cessation of feelings, their allure, their peril, and their escape, has been fully liberated without any residual clinging. By contemplating each moment of phenomena's arising and cessation, one discerns the dependent origination of all phenomena, arising from mutual conditions, interaction, and yielding new results, which then become new causes when interacting with other results. Hence, phenomena are impermanent, anicca, not eternally existing, and are independent, not related to each other, anatta. Such is the nature of Tathagata's phenomena. They come from nowhere, arise due to interactions, and cease due to new conditions of further interactions, not going anywhere. They exist uniquely once in a lifetime, impermanent, and none owns the other, ownerless non-self. Due to mindful contemplation, sati, of each true moment of feelings that arise from dependent origination linked to the 6 sense bases and 6 sense objects, the Buddha developed a practice pathway that includes tranquility meditation, samatha, jhana meditation, and insight meditation, vipassana, starting from right mindfulness, right effort, right concentration, right thought, right view, insight or wisdom, leading to right speech, right action, right livelihood, essentially the supramundane path of the Noble Eightfold Path. Later, beginners in Dharma start from right view, right thought, to right concentration, also known as the worldly Noble Eightfold Path. Conclusion: the four foundations of mindfulness are the path to enlightenment. For the part of right concentration, the method of practice is the four jhanas to achieve the state of a liberated mind through the pathway. 6 sense bases contact 6 sense objects, generating feelings and recognition. Mindfulness, sati, attentively, without applied or sustained thought, later known as contemplation of the body, will lead to right concentration, 4th jhana. And because of contemplating the Dharma in the states of jhana, one then discerns the characteristics of feelings, dharma, also known as right view, knowing the truth or discerning dharma, or also called insight wisdom, vipassana, thereby relinquishing all attachments and mental afflictions, wisdom of liberation. After 49 continuous days and nights practicing both jhana for right concentration and from there contemplating the Dharma, vipassana, also collectively known as the four foundations of mindfulness, is the path that the Buddha practiced and achieved enlightenment. From there, he taught the 5 ascetics and later disciples when preaching the Dharma in various places, and even until the end of his life. Upon entering parinibbana, he repeatedly emphasized this enlightenment, consistently from scriptural wisdom or Dharma learning, to intellectual wisdom and practice wisdom or Dharma practice, vadadittikariya, to attain the liberation of an arahant. Birth is extinguished, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there is no more coming back to this existence, Dharma achievement or escape from the cycle of birth and death.